What is it equal to? This is the equivalent of B.F. Skinner's book that you saw earlier, Beyond Freedom and Dignity. For me, it's enslavement and degradation. My father would bring this product home before it was on the market. And use us as guinea pigs to test it out. My mother had a grand mal seizure in my arms. And there's been evidence linking aspartame with the triggering of seizures. This is dissociative identity disorder. This is what happened to my family. A state of dissociation means that you are not present with your physical environment. You are somewhere else. Dissociative identity disorder, posing as objectivity and rationality. When I suspected that I may have possibly been used in MK Ultra mind control program, I submitted a Freedom of Information request to the CIA. Surprisingly, they sent me this information showing that the CIA was at the University of Minnesota at the same time that my father was there. Now, I would like to have my guardian angel erase that blacked out name or names. But unfortunately, I probably will never know the names of these evil people that were involved in this inhuman project. And maybe it's for the better, because there's a tendency for people, when they suspect that they've been mind controlled, is to look for answers outside of themselves. I've seen many people go crazy doing that. That's why I titled my presentation An Intuitive Perspective. Because I've had to go deep within myself to understand what happened. I found this too. A wonderful fellow named Alden Sears was doing hypnosis experiments at the University of Minnesota to create double personalities, or what are called alters. This increases the probability of mind control, in my opinion, to a very high degree. The Army, it was proven that they were doing bio-warfare experimentation on the very city that my family lived in. This also increases the probability of experimentation done on myself and my family. My very first media memory in the United States of America was John F. Kennedy's funeral. I was the exact age of John F. Kennedy's son, John. So my parents decided to call me JJ. which transformed into Jason the Mason. Irony. Irony. They dolled me up, they dressed me up in these suits, pure camel hair coats. They would take us to exclusive restaurants, Maxine's, as if we were their little props. It was very bizarre. I call this photo a pawn in a bigger game. I wish I could zoom in on the face. I was not too happy with my father's art direction that day. I must have been stoned if I was wearing a Grateful Dead t-shirt. There's a huge conspiracy about the Grateful Dead being a product of Stanford Research Institute. Countercultural mind control. Fortunately, I was exposed to European psychedelia. David Allen, gone. All the psychedelic bands from Europe, far superior to the Grateful Dead. I was doing a lot of hallucinogens, a lot of drugs, drinking. Instead of having a fatherly heart-to-heart talk with me, my father came into the room and presented me with a copy of Aldous Huxley's The Doors of Perception, and Huxley's experiences with mescaline, and walks out of the room. My mother would confiscate my drugs. An hour later, my father would give them back to me. It's called paradoxical psychological manipulation.
Jay, can you read that out? It's a bit faint.
A powerful strategy of brainwashing is to send a communication with two paradoxical messages. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Labor is liberating. Arbeit macht frei. Hitler's birthday today. Full moon in Scorpio. And here I am, burying my soul in beautiful Valencia. Here. This paradoxical psychological manipulation had absolutely devastating consequences on my family. Because of what does an individual do when they are presented with two opposing concepts? You can't do drugs. Here's your drugs. You can't drink. Jay, would you like a nice bottle of Stolchnalia vodka? Your favorite vodka? Huh? What do? You dissociate. You cannot handle these opposing ideas.